Good day to you. Again, in this month of December, we will talk about Bethlehem. Today our topic is why young fellows in Bethlehem made good teams, why they were good team members. 1. Bethlehem was famous for sheep, and Bethlehem had the best grasslands in Israel. They also had the best water. So the sheep in Bethlehem was of good quality and used for different purposes. And then one shepherd could look after only 100 sheep. Because when the shepherd gets on his feet, he must be able to see the 100 sheep, and he must be able to see if a sheep is in trouble, if stronger sheep are butting the weak sheep, if some sheep are eating too much. If they eat too much too soon, their belly begins to become big and they roll over and then they will die. So the shepherd had to keep a watch on all this. So generally one shepherd can get up and look only so much. Often even when he sits down, he can look at 100 sheep reasonably well. Which means the shepherds had to work in teams and look after each other also. Then in the night, some shepherds have to go to sleep and others have to keep watch over the flock by night. Some sheep can be taken into the fold for the night. Some sheep don't have folds to go into the night. So when the sheep go in, they count 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's towards the evening that the shepherd will get to know one sheep is missing, because then they start counting as they come in. Where sheep spread a little far and wide to eat the grass. But they have to keep watch, because just beyond the grassland would be the jungle, and a predator like a wolf or a bear, rarely even a lion can come. So David was tested that with his own slingshot, he killed a lion, he killed a bear, and God said if David will look after sheep like that, risking his own life, David will look after my people Israel. Did you understand how God chose David for king? Because he risked his life to look after the sheep. That's the feature of a leader. He will risk his life to do his job. Managers do it safely, and that's okay. Managers have to be safe. And managers look after what is there now. The leader sees what is there more. In that there's always a risk. In trying to do more, there's a risk. So managers are managers because they make it safe now. But one who wants to be director, apostle, he has to see the next step and how to stretch the boundary. So they were good team people because they had to do it together. And they had to allow, when they see a plateau that is good for grass, they can't all the time go to the best plateau. Because if you feed your sheep in the best plateau, because in Israel the grasslands were called Shephelah, because it was mountainous, so there would be a plateau, Sanua, and then from there you had to lead the sheep to the next one. And the first sheep to be led would be the mother sheep, who are pregnant with little fellows. So God looked at David, how he led the mother sheep carefully without falling off the edge. Because going round the mountainous side of a plateau, the path is not very big. So he has to lead them very carefully. So secondly, shepherds had to share Shephelah, pasture land. So if you get the chance to feed first the best pasture land, next day it is someone else. So they had to help each other. So they had to give way to others also to have the best flock. They learned teamwork. There's a third big factor. Bethlehem was on the border of enemy territory. Who were the enemies of Israel? Just on the outside of Bethlehem. Who were the enemies of Israel just on the outside of Bethlehem? Who? Yes, name them. Name one fellow. Philistines. That's how David met Goliath, because he's just outside. So people of Bethlehem were always having to help each other, trained in battle, because they had to watch over the Philistines who were enemies. Nothing unites people like an enemy invasion. So they were always ready to help each other. Then fourthly, they had to be multi-skilled. That was also part of Bethlehem culture. So some did linen work, some did agriculture, some did looking after sheep, some had to look after goats. So the father said, Avanka is a gentle boy, so I will put him to look after sheep. And the father said, that fellow is the Dadabra boy, tough boy, I will put him to look after goats. Then the sheep need very wise, careful handling. Then King Saul was looking after the donkeys. So he became, all the time donkeys want to do their own thing. So anyway, main thing is Bethlehem was the most prosperous city in Israel before Jerusalem came up, and they had many tasks. So each family on their family line had certain tasks to do, and they become team members because each family sends someone for donkey looking after, someone for sheep looking after, someone for cattle, someone for goat looking after. So they shared the territory, and also they had to share the watching. In the night especially, share the watching. Because in the night predators come, the animals who eat up the sheep or goat or whatever, predators, they are called predators. And so they had to keep the watch for everybody's sheep. If a wolf is allowed to come, anybody's sheep can be lost. You can't say, my sheep will be safe. No, wolves will get at anybody's sheep. In fact, he will creep through and get to somewhere else, where he can safely eat. So because of enemies, they had to be looking after each other. Fifthly, because of predators, they had to look after each other. There's another thing in Bethlehem. Bethlehem had a heart of worship. David learned worship in Bethlehem. Bethlehem people were dancing and making music and making musical items. So they worshipped God together. They became a great team. In playing music, you have to give way to one, and you don't try to exalt yourself. So this is why later on, when David had to build a team from nothing, it is said when David was in a cave of Adullam, the king was so bad that he was unjustly treating different people. And 400 of them came to David saying, king is treating us unjustly. And David built a team out of these 400 people who had come through differently, and they became a mighty fighting army. Did you understand? So Bethlehem knew how to build team, and they had to watch each other's back. They had enemies around, and it was a small town having to face up to a lot of enemies. So David's army had leaders all from Bethlehem. They were called 30 mighty men of David. Okay. So today's talk was about leadership, example from Bethlehem. I am Dr. Lalith Mendis. I am the director of Colombo Empathic Learning Center. You have to wait. Your job is not over. And Colombo Empathic Learning Center. And my normal topic is screen-brain balance. If you want any clips on spirituality, science and reason, please send me a WhatsApp to 074-211-5011. If you want a consultation for your kid for their digitization problems, digitization risk problems, you have to give a call to my secretary 077-151-2801, and you will get a consultation free of cost. Thank you for listening. We'll meet again.